Hi, Professor. So this is my uh, video talking about the material, the interview or the conversation with James K.A. Smith. I did watch the material and I did read it. Wow. So first off, I just want to say that this was a very interesting video. I had to Google a couple of the words they used, like immanentization, immanentization, and excarnation, because some of these ideas were pretty deep ideas. So the first question was based on this material: how well do you understand the cultural influences around you? They talked about this a little bit inside the video. Sort of the idea that we all swim. We're immersed in like the art and the media of our culture, and like we are born in the concoction of history. I don't know if that's a good way of describing it, but basically, they talk about Hegel and like modernity is the way it is. It didn't have to be like this, but like it is like this. So now this is where we find ourselves, like the secular world we live in, with what they talk about, like the Nova effect, this is like a natural course. This is the natural course for humanity. And like they talk about how Christians often they have this they almost have this like desire to go backward to a time when let me read my notes here. Basically, sorry. A simpler time when Christianity was generally like accepted to be true, and they say that we shouldn't yearn for that, because this is where thought was always was has gone. Like now we live in a secular world, and then so yeah, I don't know if that answers the question of how well do I understand the cultural influences around me. Honestly, I think the more you learn about history, the more you read, the better you understand. And hopefully I have an okay level of understanding of the cultural influences around me. But it's difficult. It's hard to as a fish, it's hard to know what water is. Like it's just what you're in. The second question we were supposed to answer is, what are some ways to better understand the cultural influences around you? Well, I think that understanding the impact, well, specifically for me, like I am a Protestant, so the idea of the impact that the Protestant Reformation had on the church or on Christianity, and the fact that Christianity became disembodied and de-ritualized, and turned into a belief system, well, and is treated like a belief system or like thoughts and ideas more so than things you do. It's a thing you. I know as a reform, somebody who is more Reformed theology. It definitely is emphasized that it's what you know to be true and not always what you do. And basically, the author, James, and the original author, they push back on this. Yeah. Man, this is a really deep conversation. And I think there's a lot of aspects of the conversation that I'd like to take more time to learn more about. I think one last thing, if I could, that I thought was interesting was I really liked when he says like Taylor says that if you are doing apologetics in a modern context, you have already conceded the argument. My dad actually has a master's degree in Christian apologetics, and I grew up with him, telling us a lot about his readings and a lot about his degree, and it helped shape my worldview. And I do find interesting the recommendation made is that you should offer an alternative story that humans can try on and see if that makes sense to them based off of their lived experience. Like the Christian apologetic that is not out to win an argument, but just offer a story that they can either decide to accept or not. And I actually really connect with that. We're told that in the New Testament that Christ stands at the door and knocks. And he knocks. He does not stand at the door and negotiate and debate. And I think the gospel message is powerful enough, even in this world we live in that is secular and, has this nova effect where there's this expansion of different belief options and meaning. I think that the gospel message still rings true to those the Holy Spirit is working in and working on. Yeah, so I don't know if I answered the questions very well. However, that's my takeaway from the video, and I have to say it was extremely informative. And I'm going to have some conversations with my dad and with my pastor, hopefully, and with some people, and I'd like to hear what they have to say. I'd like to connect with them. They're Presbyterians, Reformed Presbyterians. And I'd like to just talk to them more about that and so yeah. Thank you, Professor.